On India as a great economic power, I don't think we should get too carried away. Indian growth is very impressive, and I do tend to believe Indian figures more than I do those of some other countries. That being said, while, as Steve has mentioned, the lingo in Delhi is right about redistribution, and the dynamism of growth is such that it has raised most boats in India a bit. There are simply tremendous deficits in the Indian growth story. Infrastructure is truly disgraceful for a country of India's ambition, as anybody who travels to India knows. Delhi being an exception and a showcase, but if you go to secondary Indian cities, you spend all your time trying to manage 2 appointments a day through impossible logistical arrangements locally. Corruption, China has its own forms of corruption and fights it in its own ways. India doesn't fight corruption at all effectively. And one of the reasons we've seen exasperation throughout India, not just in the middle class over the last year, is patently it isn't being fought with any degree of success. And it takes 2 to tango. Any corrupt transaction requires the party being corrupted, but it also requires a corrupter, and there the Indian private sector also has a lot to answer for. So not all of it, by the way, because there are some Indian conglomerates that have refused to get into much corruption, but there are others that, frankly, keep this model going. So the Indian economic miracle is a fragile one, in my view, requires a lot stronger and more positive governance from Delhi, and requires more opening up the economy. We tend to go on about Indian liberalization, but it was a very partial liberalization. Why are Indian conglomerates investing more abroad than at home? Because it's easier for them to buy Jaguar than it is for them to build a Tata plant in West Bengal. This is not good. This is not a miracle. It's a disaster. Indians need, instead of constantly boasting about India's success, tackle what isn't working. And then they will be a great economic power.